Hi there, welcome to the archives. So I thought for today I would do. There's a video I saw a couple days ago from a black autistic creator, and I went to go and
life and tell them you did something that hurt me or I didn't like or confused me. There's
Brittany
no action
Elizabeth.
that will make me exit stage left faster than somebody turning it around on me. There's a term for this. It's called Darvo. I'll let you look that up on your own because that's not what this video is about. This video is actually for anyone else who can relate to this, who's had people in their lives that they treated one way, but those people did not treat them the same way. Maybe you were
So
gentleness with you. Maybe you held space for people who couldn't even see you. This is for you and me because I'm 37, I'll be 38 on Monday, and I'm only just realizing that I'm the problem. Because these types of people are exactly who they are the day you meet them. I cannot lie and say that every time this happens to me, it's not at the hands of somebody who already showed themselves as being self-centered or emotionally unintelligent. But I keep entering these connections, treating people the way I treat myself. I'm very gentle with my parts. When I'm having a bad day, when something hurts, I'm always
I was thinking about I went to make a comment and mine was too long, so I decided to delete it and I just emailed it to myself instead. I thought I would read the email and just kind of go over some of those dynamics and talk about shame, just because that's what I studied and that's what I knew. Ayura, you okay back there? And what I've also noticed is often when we talk about these things, at least for me, it's always like we tend to distance ourselves from being that person also, right? As if we've never, at least for me, I'll speak, as if we've never flipped the script or done folks, what we don't like what folks do to us. So I try to make the comment based on, at least from my experiences, because again, I can't speak for anybody else, right? And what I was thinking about is in those sorts of dynamics, there's a lot of different things that come into play. There's power, there's control. But for the most part, what I noticed is, one second, okay? Sorry. What I've noticed is shame tends to be in these dynamics, embarrassment. But when we're dealing with people, again, I guess not everybody. I've seen people say that online that they're not competitive, and I don't know what that's like because I tend to be very competitive, and that's something I'm unlearning. But I think like what if you've been in certain households where you've been like pinned against your siblings, or you've been pinned against other, like if your parents compared you to people, or if you played sports, if you had to be like a shining student or a shining athlete, like there tends to be some level, we're indoctrinated early to be in competition. If you were ever in sports, like I said, I played piano, if you were ever in piano or you played an instrument, if you ever went to school, if you ever did anything that an adult pinned you against somebody else, not in a negative way, but just in a competitive way, right? Competitive dance, gymnastics, whatever. It could be really hard to unlearn that competition, but that competition is also, we're taught and indoctrinated into that because it's very fruitful for capitalism, right? If you're always looking at somebody else and how can I one up them, and oh, that's what you're doing, okay, let me just do more than you, let me just do more than you, let me buy more than you, let me consume more than you, let me do better than you, right? In order to be better than other people, in order to stay on top and to win, you need resources, you just do, right? So you have to like buy things constantly and do and get the new iPhone, get the new get the new laptop, get the new whatever it is, right? The new car, the new house, a bigger house, just so then you're always above other people. And so I think that was the first part, is sometimes you have to acknowledge that like we are in community with folks that are competing with us. Maybe not to any fault of their own, they might not even know it, but we've just been indoctrinated from an early start to look at others as competitions. And that's within families, within our friendships, within our workplaces, even with strangers, right? If you ever been on a bus and, I don't know, somebody is doing something and then you feel like you need to like show them that like you're, I don't know, whatever it is, right? But a lot of us struggle with negotiating shame for whatever reason. Again, emotions are not something we're typically taught, right? No one really teaches you what fear is. One of the books that I'm reading, I'm going to do a book share later, but one of the books I just read, The Kittens, is Angry Me, where by Sandra F. Fetter and Rahel Jampour Bell. So we just read on about anger, and I think that was one of the things is like we don't often talk about different emotions, right? There was another one we read. Sandra has another book. I never understand. I'm always assuming Sandra's like a white Jewish woman, but the characters are like brown, so it could be a little jarring when authors don't write main characters in their same demographic. There's another one we read, Peaceful Me. I think it was Peaceful Me. We read on peace. I think we read Angry Me and Peaceful Me. What brings peace and what brings anger. But a lot of us are not taught emotions, right? We're just taught to just shut it down. Don't cry. Don't do this. Don't do that. But we're not really taught how to handle emotions. Why do I look like that? Okay. Which means many of us are not even taught what shame is, right? That's something I didn't learn until literally in my 30s when I went to do my PhD. I didn't know what shame really was other than like, oh my God, this feels really bad and like I might be shameful. Those were my research questions. What is shame? How does it function? I didn't know how shame functioned until again I got my PhD, right? A lot of us don't know what emotions are. And so we are coming together in relations, and all of these emotions are all around us. Sarah Ahmed says they move, right? Like, and they're all around us, they're in us, and we don't know how to negotiate it. And now somebody does something to hurt our feelings, we go to them and say, like, you hurt my feelings, and they're like, no, you hurt my feelings. Matter of fact, I've been waiting to tell you and show you about yourself. And you're like, wait, I just came to, you did something to me. Right, and then it gets spun where you're now the villain, even though you were the one that went to the person with an issue. I think some of that has to do with shame, and so what I said was like, they don't like to be again this they them we are not like I really struggle when we get on. I do the same thing. So listen, I do exactly the same thing when we get online and we like make other people the villain, and it's like we're so perfect. No one has ever come to us and said we've done something and we were just unable to be accountable to them. I don't think that's honest. None of us are perfect, right? But that's fine. They don't like being wrong, being made to look bad, and they have a hard time saying sorry, right? I've definitely done that. If you have a lot of pride, if you are somebody who has too much pride, you're really proud, you think you're better than people, you think you're among the top, if you have a certain personality, if you have certain like narcissism, for instance, right? It could be really hard to see yourself as like a bad person because in your eyes you are perfect. You have to see yourself as perfect because anything less rubs you the wrong way. It makes you feel small. And you can't feel small because you already feel small, remember? So being accountable, it's really tough because it asks us to step into a little bit of shame. And if you're somebody who's already bombarded by shame, if you're somebody who society tells you are shameful, if you're somebody who gets shamed a lot, if you're publicly shamed, if you were shamed a lot as a kid, as an adult, you don't have a lot of capacity to hold on to any more shame because shame is physically painful, right? Shame is one of those emotions that physically hurts. To feel it is very uncomfortable in our bodies. And so most of us don't have a capacity for shame, we don't have a capacity for a lot, especially right now. There's so much going on right now. Now you're trying to put shame on me? No, what you're not going to do is shame me. What you're not going to do is make me look like a bad person, especially when I have stuff on you, right? And that's often what's happening. It's like we're already so stressed out. We're already so busy. I'm not, but like, right? If you're doing a capitalism game, if you're working 3, 4 jobs, if you're, um, it's hard. It's really, really hard. Um, and so we don't like it. We just definitely don't like it. We don't have a high tolerance for it, right? There's no capacity, which is human. That's most of us. But I think there's also an extreme. There's an extreme, right? There's a superiority thing. There's a supremacy thing. If you're dealing with a person who thinks they're more superior than you, these are usually people that have already, without knowing or meaning to, or maybe they do mean to, but they put you, you're not on a pedestal in their eyes. Like they see you as a lesser person, maybe. I wish I could show you them play fighting. Why are you hissing at her like that? Have you ever seen 2 cats play fighting? Can you see them? They are just on one. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Shame just requires some accountability. That's all I want to say, right? And if you are not willing, if you're unwilling, if you're unable to negotiate shame in that moment that somebody comes to shame you, you're likely going to do Darvo. You're very likely to do Darvo. You're gonna spin it on them because you cannot be accountable to them in that moment because all you're thinking about is yourself. It literally feels like an ego with death. It's just like, it feels like an attack. It's an attack, right? People, it feels like an attack on people. Like, you are making me, why are you doing this to me right now? Just shut up, right? That's what people say. Why are you making me look like a bad person? I'm not a bad person. I can't afford to look like a bad person. You're embarrassing me. And like, this is not about you. This is about me, right? It's not about you. It's about me. You're making me look bad. And I'm going to shut it down. And you have no right to make me look bad because you're not perfect either. So let me remind you. Let me show you about yourself. Let me humble you, small girl, autistic girl, with your autistic, you know what I mean? That's how it is. It's like, who are you? Who you think you're so different? They think you're a loser. You make them uncomfortable. Like, they just don't like you. But like, they have to be in a relationship with you because like, you're their daughter or you're their sister or you're their niece or you're their coworker, right? So like, I have to be in proximity with you. I have to like you because you're in my life. But like, I actually don't like you. You actually really make me uncomfortable. And now you're coming to make me look bad? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. What we're not going to do. And so it gets spun on you. Often it's unconscious, right? But that's what I'm seeing is we're not able to hear other people. They make us look bad. They make us look wrong. And then we're just like, you bruised my ego. You brought on way too much shame. And I'm not here from it, right? I'm not here for it at all. Let me shame you right back. And the easiest way and the fastest way to do that is to engage in these dynamics. Because all you're hearing is, you're making me look bad, you're shaming me, and I'm going to make you look bad. I'm going to shame you now. I'm going to remind you that you are not all that. It sucks, but like, that tends to be what happens. So if we want to not do that, we have to have different values, right? Like she's saying in the video, it's just, we have different values. You value being right, you value being competitive, and that might not be my value. And so maybe we're just not a good fit, or we have to figure out how to resolve this. And I think what I'm hearing in that video and what I recognize being on both sides of that is it's really hard to repair with these types of people. It's really, really hard because repair is not what they're looking for. They're not looking to repair. They're looking to do more damage because they see you as having done the damage, right? So there's nothing different to them. They don't want to repair it. They don't want to repair it because they're not the one who broke it. You are the one who came to them. How dare you come to me with a transgression? How dare you look at me as a bad person? How dare you try to make me look wrong? And so it's not, you can't really repair with those people because they don't want to repair. They want to be right. They want to win the argument, right? They want to put you in your place. They want to one up you. They just want to avoid that accountability. They want to avoid feeling bad. They don't like to feel uncomfortable, and they're not the most self-aware. And so they're not going to take that time to sit there and be like, wow, what did I do to you? Oh my God, let me coddle you. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. Go to therapy because I'm not your therapist. Boo hoo, cry me a river. I don't care about your emotions. I don't care about your feelings, right? Shut up with all of that whiny shit and leave me alone and stop trying to make me look bad. It's hard to repair with someone like that. It's very hard to repair with someone like that. But I think I'm hoping that we can also see when we're really hard to repair with, right? Because if we're attracting that, that's not our fault. But I think it's also showing us that like at some point it's become so normalized, those traits have become so normalized that like that person has become it. And if we are continuously in those patterns, then it might be more than just an individual thing. It might actually be a structural and systemic thing, which is why I really appreciate Bell Hooks' framing of like our societies are narcissistic, right? It moves away from the individual is the problem to like this is a structural thing. This is a bigger thing. It's a pattern. I keep meeting these people. We keep finding ourselves in these dynamics. So it can't just be a one-off, right? It's not a one-off. The repetition, the pattern shows us is a structural and systemic thing, meaning we're not the only ones. I resonate with that. I understand that a lot of us have been in those dynamics. But what I've also learned is the more that I was looking at other people as narcissists, the less I was able to see myself as a narcissist. The more I needed to make others wrong, the less I was able to see where I was wrong. And I think that's also part of the problem is we're always looking at how other people are doing us dirty and we're not able to really sit about how we do others dirty. Because when I started to see how I do others dirty, then I started to see the commonality between me and these people, right? I was like, oh, when that person came to me and said that I did this thing that hurt them, I wasn't also able to hear it. I wasn't able to hear it because it made me look bad. It made me feel really bad. Oh, it's because I was so ashamed. The shame was really uncomfortable. Oh, that might be happening to this person when I go to them with an issue, right? And so it just makes it a little bit easier to see when we're doing it and also recognize when other people are doing it to us. So that's all I wanted to share. It's like shame can be difficult to negotiate, which means it's going to make it hard to be accountable, right? Which means we are more likely then to flip the script onto other people. And we just have to be really aware of when someone comes to us with something that we've done to them and just be able to, I can't receive that right now. I want to receive you. I hear you, but I can't receive you right now because I'm in so much of my own shame. My stuff is coming up that I can't meet you where you are. Please let me just tend to my stuff first. Let me just take the weekend to sort through this, and I'm gonna get back to you on Monday. Is it okay if we talk about this on Monday, right? That gives some sort of an entry point for some sort of a repair. It lets the other person know I hear you. I just can't sit with this right now, right? Rather than just shutting it down. I think that can be more productive. That can show the other person that like we actually care to fix this thing. We actually care about their feelings. We actually care about them as a human being. We want them in our lives and we appreciate the relationship enough to maybe do something, right? I hear you. I can't do this right now. I'm in too much shame. And it's making me want to villainize you. It's making me want to demonize you. It's making me want to go back down the memory lane and bring back everything you've done to me. And I recognize that's not healthy. So just give me a couple days. Give me a couple days. I'll get back to you. Thank you so much. I might not agree with you right now, but I just need to sit and sort through all of it. And then we can have a conversation. And I wish that's what I would have done in those situations when people came to me with things that I couldn't sit with. That's what I wish people would have done when I came to them with things that they couldn't hear. I feel like I'm spinning a lot. So that's all I wanted to share. It's 20 minutes. Take time, pause if you need to. If somebody comes at you with something that's really hard, it's hard to do, right? It's really hard to do, but like I think that's what more of us need to do, especially when we're so stressed out, especially when we're feeling a lot. Just take some time, think about it, hear them out. Maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong, but at least we're not reactive. This, right? That reactivity can really burn a lot of bridges. And I know from experience, being reactive, being impulsive, burned a lot of bridges in my life. And so I'm just sharing what I've seen, as somebody who's been on both sides of those dynamics. And I think it's harder for us to get online and say, I know what it's like to be on both sides, because to say that means you've been the villain. And we don't want to make people think that we're villains. We don't want anybody to see us as bad, right? That's not really sustainable, because no one wants to be with people that are bad. No one wants to be with people that do that, right? And so we just have to like perform and be like, oh my God, I'm so good. Won't you be my friend? Won't you stay in my life? Won't you, right? And we're afraid to show that. I'm just rambling now, so have a good day. Bye.